Chapter 23. How there was peace between Odysseus and his people. Now all this time there went the news through the town how the suitors had been killed, and the people came from all parts to the king's palace, crying and mourning. And they took up the dead bodies and carried them away and buried them. And the bodies of them that came from the islands round about they gave to the fishermen, that they might carry them each to their home. And when they'd done this, they gathered together in the great square of the town till it was filled with from one end to the other. Then stood Eupetes, who was father to Antinous, the man who was first killed by Odysseus, and said, "Friends, this man has done great evil to this land and this people. He took away with him so many brave men in his ships, and when he went to Troy, 12 ships he took, and there were 50 men in each. All these he has lost. Not one will you ever see again. But he himself has come back. Now, therefore, let us take vengeance on him, and on them that have joined themselves to him, before they flee to some other land. It will be a shame to us for ever and ever if we sit still and suffer the men who have murdered our sons and our brothers to go free. Myself, I would rather die than suffer such a disgrace. Let us go, therefore, before they take ship and escape." Then Maiden, the herald, stood up in the assembly, and Phemius, the singer, with him, and said, "Listen now to me, men of Ithaca. All that Odysseus did to the suitors, he did by the will of the gods. I myself saw one of them stand by his side. He seemed like to mentor, but I knew that he was a god, and he cheered him on and helped him as he fought, and he turned against the spears of the suitors." Then a certain prophet stood up, a wise man who knew all things had been, and all that were yet to come to pass, and he said, "Listen to me, men of Ithaca. These dreadful things are the harvest, but you sowed the seed. But when the wise mentor told you what you should do, that you should keep your sons back from doing this evil, you would not hear him. You suffered them to waste your king's wealth and to make suit to his wife, laughing in their hearts and thinking that he would never come back. See now the end. Listen therefore to me. Do not go against this man, lest you also should perish." So the wise man spoke, and some listened to him. But more than half sprang to their feet and shouted for battle. So they armed themselves for the fight and followed Eupeithes. Meanwhile Athena in heaven said to Zeus her father, "What is thy will, my father? Must there be more of war and the shedding of blood, or wilt thou command that there will be peace between Odysseus and his people?" And Zeus answered, "My daughter, order it thou wilt. It has been of thy doing that Odysseus has taken vengeance on the suitors. Now see that there will be peace between him and his people. Let them forget that their sons and brothers have been slain, and that to be more ready to forget, see that they have plenty and prosperity in their land." Then Athena sped down from heaven to earth, and she might bring these things to pass. Meanwhile they sat in the house of Laertes and finished their meal, and Odysseus said, "Let someone go out and see what has been done, lest these people come upon us before we are ready." So one of the sons of Dolius went out, and lo, the crowd of armed men were hard at hand, and he cried out to Odysseus, "They are coming! Let us to arms!" So they arose and armed themselves. 12 they were in all, Odysseus and his son, the swineherd and the herd serving at the table, and Dolius with his 6 sons, and old Laertes. And Athena came in the shape of Mentor. Odysseus said to his son, "My son, now you take your place for the first time in the line of battle. Bear yourself therefore worthily, and shame not your father and your father's father." And Telemachus said, when he spoke the light of battle was in his eye, "My father, you shall see what it is in the heart of your son, and never will I shame my father and my father's father." Then the old man cried aloud in his joy, "Now I thank the gods that I have lived to see this day, for my son and my son's son contend, who shall bear himself more bravely in the battle." Then Athena said to the old man Laertes, "And pray to the father of the gods and the man that he may strengthen your arm, and be you the first to cast your spear. So the old man prayed, and when he cast his spear at Eupeithes, the leader of the rebels, he cast it and smote him on the helmet, and broke through the brass, and pierced his brain. Heavily did he fall to the ground, and his armour rang out around him. After this, Odysseus and his son charged at the rebels, and Athena also lifted up her voice, and the others fled for fear of the heroes and of the voice. And as Odysseus would have followed them, Zeus cast down a thunderbolt from heaven, and it fell at the feet of Athena. When Athena saw it, she cried, "Hold your hand, lest you move the anger of Father Zeus." As she came forward, having the shape and the voice of Mentor, she spoke to the people and bade them remember how Odysseus and his father before him had been good kings, and how the suitors had behaved very badly, and had suffered as they deserved. And now, she said, he is willing to forget all that is past, and to rule over you as a just man should. Make your peace with him. And she herself inclined their hearts to do this thing. So Odysseus and his people were made friends again.